Can someone really be born again to carry on a spiritual mission? In Tibetan Buddhism, they say yes, and they've been saying it for over 800 years. But how did this belief shape entire kingdoms and even challenge the modern world? Let's explore the mysterious Tulku System. The Tulku System is a uniquely Tibetan Buddhist institution, referring to the recognition of reincarnated spiritual masters. In Tibetan, Tulku means emanation body, a being who deliberately chooses to be reborn in order to continue the work of benefiting sentient beings. Tulkus are considered living Buddhas, embodiments of compassion and wisdom reborn again and again to guide others toward liberation. This system has shaped Tibetan Buddhism for centuries, giving rise to famous figures like the Dalai Lamas, Karmapas, and many revered teachers throughout history. The Tulku system began in the 12th century, around 1193 CE, with the Karmapa lineage, making it the oldest reincarnate lineage in Tibetan Buddhism. The first Karmapa, Dusum Khenpa, 1110 to 1193, predicted his own rebirth. After his death, his disciples recognized a child, Karma Pakshi, 1204 to 1283, as his reincarnation. This set the precedent for recognizing reincarnations of great masters, rather than transmitting lineage solely through institutional or familial means. Over time, this system expanded to include many lineages, including the Dalai Lama, Panchen Lama, Sakya Trizin, and others. There were both spiritual and socio-political reasons. Spiritual continuity. Recognizing a master's reincarnation provided an unbroken link of transmission, ensuring the teachings stayed pure and accessible across lifetimes. Institutional stability. In the absence of written succession or formal inheritance, the Tulku system offered legitimacy to leadership within monasteries and schools. Charismatic authority. A recognized Tulku could unify followers, secure patronage, and command spiritual respect from an early age. It became a deeply Tibetan adaptation of Buddhist ideas about rebirth and bodhisattva vows. Traditionally, the recognition of a Tulku is a mystical yet systematic process. Signs before or after death of the previous master. Instructions or predictions left by the former Tulku. Oracles consulted for guidance. Dreams and visions experienced by disciples or high lamas. Tests given to the child. For example, identifying objects belonging to the previous incarnation. The final recognition is typically done by a high lama or group of qualified masters, ensuring authenticity. Over the centuries, the Tulku system has faced both reverence and criticism. Concerns and controversies such as politicization. Rival factions have recognized different incarnations for political gain. For example, the two Karmapas in recent history. Elite preservation. In some cases, Tulku recognition helped preserve lineage wealth, power, and influence within certain families or sects. Cultural rigidity. Critics argue the system reinforces feudal hierarchies, sometimes stifling innovation or diversity. Some Tulkus now grow up outside Tibet, in the West, or in exile communities. The role of a Tulku today often includes cross-cultural teaching, engaging with secular audiences, and sometimes even leaving monastic life entirely. Some Westerners have also been recognized as Tulkus. For example, Stephen Seagal was controversially recognized by Penor Rinpoche. Despite challenges, the Tulku system continues to evolve, offering a living link to the Dharma through the lens of reincarnation. In recent decades, the Tulku system has expanded beyond its Himalayan roots, recognizing Tulkus born in the West, raised in different cultures, and caught between ancient expectations and modern realities. Among them is one of the most well-known and controversial Western Tulku, Osel Hita Torres, recognized as the reincarnation of the revered Lama Yeshe. His journey from celebrated child Tulku to outspoken critic reveals a profound inner struggle between tradition and freedom, identity and authenticity. Let's take a closer look at the life and awakening of the Spanish Tulku. On 12th February 1985, in the State Hospital of Granada, Spain, Osel Hita Torres was born. 1 year later, British journalist Vicky Mackenzie is present as the Dalai Lama declares him a reincarnated Tibetan master. That child was Osel Hita, whose story was told in Reincarnation, the boy Lama. But by adulthood, he publicly walked away, calling his upbringing toxic. Today, we expose the Tulku system's hidden tensions, centered on Osel's journey. Enthroned in Dharamsala at age 2, he was handed ceremonial robes, crowned, and embraced by fellow monks as the Tulku reincarnation of Lama Yeshe, with Mackenzie present to document it. At 6, Osel entered Sera Monastery, immersed in rites yet emotionally shut off from Western childhood. Meals, affection, interactions were all regulated, his identity shaped by symbols and ceremony rather than personal growth. His upbringing prioritized tradition and institutional needs over spontaneity or genuine care. In his teens and early 20s, Osel left monastic life for secular studies, earning diplomas and a master's in documentary film, integrating autonomy, creativity, and critical thinking into his life path. His new environment highlighted stark contrasts: personal agency versus ritual expectation. In March 2025, on his 40th birthday, Osel issued a bold statement denouncing FPMT's culture as toxic and controlling. He criticized the board for treating him not as a person, but as an asset, lacking customary process before accusations, calling for transparency and accountability. His is a wake-up call from within. I'm not a child anymore. They are not my parents. This marks one of the most public reckonings in modern Tulku history. He details forced tours since age 2, chaotic and unstructured childhood, lack of investigation when accusations were leveled, asked only to absorb blame. He recounts the board's recourse to therapy for him, institutional denial of responsibility, and his 2011 resignation over concerns about teacher ethics. The Tulku system presumes continuity of spiritual consciousness across lifetimes. Yet, when a recognized Tulku like Osel renounces the role, it disrupts that assumption. Despite rituals and titles, Osel's experience exposes deeper questions. Is spiritual authority born from birth destiny, or lived actions and autonomy? When identity is assigned early, used institutionally, what happens to consciousness? All of us hold pure awareness as our innate quality. But can we ever be 100% sure that consciousness continues from one life to the next through rituals and lineage? Buddha warned, don't follow someone because of their birth, but judge them by their actions. If a child is hailed as a Tulku and later walks away, who are we truly recognizing? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you.